The following is a production of CUTV Sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to CUTV's coverage of Vulcan men's soccer. I am Zach Lamar, and joining me is Cody Jeanette. The Vulcans opened the season against the Walsh University Cavaliers. Now, Cody, both of these teams had different levels of success last season. Why don't you tell me about their prior seasons?
Well, California last year is able to say that they boasted an 11-6-2 record, including within the PSAC conference a 5-3-1 record. So they're coming off of a spectacular winning season last year, and then the Walsh University Cavaliers are coming off of a 3-13 record from last season. However, those 3 wins, Zach, came within the GLIAC conference, so they were wins that counted.
Yeah, wins that definitely counted as you try to get into postseason play late into the soccer season. Now, California will start a new era of soccer tonight as new coach Emmadine Sabic replaces Dennis Lasky, who coached the Vulcan men's soccer program for nearly 3 decades. Now, Cody, Sabic, although he's a newcomer, he really has a bit of a homecoming here tonight. Tell me more.
Well, it is interesting to note that Sabic was actually a player under Coach Lasky whenever he was still the head coach here. It has been that long since California's soccer program has seen a new coach. So along with the new blood that's coming in, there's certainly some experience coming in as well, which I believe will really help push the team forward.
Yeah, help to push the team forward, build off some success from last year. Vulcan men's soccer coverage will continue next after the break here on CUTV.
With 18 institutions, my conference is the largest league across all NCAA classifications. With nearly 7,000 student athletes competing in 23 championships, my conference sponsors the most championships in Division II. With a 78% academic success rate, my conference graduates student athletes well above the national average. We compete with passion. We take pride in our efforts in the arena and in the classroom. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Passion, pride, Pennsylvania.
There is a university built on an uncommon dedication to the whole student, where core values of integrity, civility, and responsibility are not just taught, but integrated into academic experience, creating a learning environment for personal life as well as professional life. California University of Pennsylvania.
Gonna stop, baby. Can't bring me down. We keep climbing up the ladder. Can't bring me down. To the top I climb, and I'm never gonna quit till I get what's mine. I hope you came to win, cause I'm never gonna stop till I cop that ring. To the top.
And welcome back to CUTV's coverage of Vulcan men's soccer. This is the first game of the 2013 season. Now, Cody, you just heard the end of the national anthem. The starting lineups have been announced. Highlight the goalkeepers for me, Cody.
Well, in goal for the California Vulcans tonight is number 1, Shane Donovan, is the junior goalkeeper out of Pipersville, PA. And then in the other end of the field. Opposing him is also number 1, Justin Nolan for the Walsh University Cavaliers. Walsh is a senior goalkeeper out of Medina, Ohio, and this team, Zach, is coming from Canton, Ohio, or thereabouts. So they're making the voyage down into southwestern Pennsylvania to take on the California Vulcans, and it should be a great game to start off the season.
Yes, and to go over the officials with you, we have referee Neil Brunson, assistant referee Randy Pritz, and Stephen Redhead calling the action on the field. Now, all the players are getting in their set positions. California in the white, and Walsh in the black uniforms. And the goalkeepers for Cal, Donovan is in his green goalkeeper outfit, and for Walsh, the orange for Nolan. Now Cal starts with the ball and is quickly kicked back toward goal, where Donovan will take it and throw it out to his own player as action gets underway here at Phillipsburg Soccer Complex.
Walsh trying to make a name for themselves early, sending it right into California's zone early on. It's a great way to start the game for the Cavaliers.
Now an aggressive attack here, but it does not go anywhere as Cal gets the ball right back, right to the other half of the field. Ball almost goes out, but Walsh keeps it in towards their own goalkeeper as he kicks it towards midfield, but a Cal player heads it down towards the opposite side. We have a stoppage here.
That was a little triple combo there on the headers, 2 by California and 1 by Walsh. Just trying to maintain control, but possession goes back to California.
The ball crosses midfield. Running with it, it's a short pass, and then backwards to number 23. That is, David Deemer for California. Oh, and out of bounds off of Deemer. A kick on from his own player. That is Kevin Helbig off of David Deemer. It goes out of bounds, so it will be Walsh ball, and that one looked like it probably hurt Cody.
Yeah, there was a direct kick right to his face or his chest. I really couldn't tell where it hit, but regardless, a soccer ball coming that fast couldn't have felt any good.
Now Walsh gets some pressure near the goal box, and there is a kick off, but it is headed away from the goal. And Walsh does recover the ball, though, so they will keep progressing downfield. Now another far kick, and this one looks like he's trying to set up for the header, but it goes over Walsh's player and out of bounds, so Walsh will get the ball. It is not going to be a corner kick, I believe.
That was a great initial setup by the Walsh University Cavaliers. They're really starting to attack early on here offensively, and it's a great way to make a name for themselves early on. Maybe they'll get the first goal, maybe not, but either way, they're showing California that they came here, they didn't travel this far for nothing. They're ready to play.
Yeah, and this will be a corner kick, Cody, so I was wrong as the kick is away. And there is a header, and it is an early goal for Walsh University. They take the 1-0 lead off the corner kick. A beautiful header into the net over Shane Donovan onto the opposite side of the goal, Cody, and we will see the replay right here. Let's see who exactly scored that goal right there for Walsh.
Yeah, there's the replay. It's a header from the right side, from the goal's right side, our left side, coming all the way from the far side of the field. It was a mighty corner kick sent in by Walsh University, and on that goal, I believe, was number 18, Marco Pavlik, the 5'11" forward out of Canton, Ohio. He was a big factor in that play.
Yeah, now the ball is kicked downfield by Cal, and it will be Walsh ball as it goes out of play. Now, Cody, that's a great start for Walsh here in the season. Like we said, during the Open, they only had a 3-13 record. If they can build on some early success, they'll come away with an early season win here.
Well, you're right. It's they're only looking up after a 2012 performance of 3-13. They have nowhere but up to look forward to. They're at the bottom of the ladder right now, working their way up, and so far they're looking good.
Yeah, and there was also as you were speaking, Cody, another chance right there. Walsh almost made it a 2-0 lead, but the kick went over to goal. Shane Donovan had no chance at that. It just happened to go over the post, so it remains 1-0 Walsh. And it seems so far, Cody, California's having a little bit of trouble possessing the ball. It seems that Walsh has had more possession time than California. We are in the early stages of the first half, but you want to be able to possess the ball a little bit better than California has.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to go in this first half with 41 minutes and 16 seconds as we see the ball enter Walsh's end. But you're right, Zach. Walsh has really been present offensively, putting pressure on Cal's defense from the very start of this game.
And that pass right there goes over the head of Christopher Carnes, so it'll be Walsh ball again on the out of bounds. Now Cal has the ball back, and almost an amazing pass, and there will be an offsides call there. California had a great chance. The pass was deflected, came right back to number 20, Jeffrey Kai, but the play did not develop, Cody.
Yeah, it was California just got a little too antsy, maybe a little too excited there on that offensive opportunity, but like we've been saying before, there's still plenty of time left, just over 40 and a half minutes. Still plenty of soccer left to play here.
We see Walsh possessing the ball again near the goal box of California as Walsh keeps it in, but looks like the referee is going to call that one out. No, excuse me. The goalkeeper, Shane Donovan, is going to throw it out to his own player. And California possesses the ball.
We're seeing some California offense here starting to get a little aggressive. It seemed like Walsh's defense has having a little trouble, and they were forced to fall back as we see Nolan now in goal for Walsh punting it out. It's a California maybe starting to get their offensive groove on here.
California is starting to get the offense clicking as number 10 for California, Gabby Della Borgano, tries to run it down. He is unsuccessful, although there's a pass to number 20, Stephen Kai, and they're close to the goal. Almost a chance. The header is unsuccessful as it's headed away by Walsh, defender. Now another chance by California, keeping the ball near the goal box, Cody, as they are getting very aggressive on this possession.
Yeah, they're starting to see just where exactly that they can capitalize here. It's this is my favorite part of any sporting event to watch, is the beginning minutes, because we see both teams, start to analyze how their chemistry's working, how their offenses and defenses are working, and how they can counter.
Excuse me, Cody, I'm sorry right there. There's a shot taken, but Nolan catches it right in the middle of his body, so the goal try unsuccessful by California. Now it's punted downfield, and a Walsh player gets it to his own man, but California will now have possession. And a forward pass, but it goes a little bit too far. There would have been an offsides call there if California had tried to track down the ball. So Justin Nolan will contain it for Walsh.
Walsh is definitely trying to counterattack here. You can just sense it that they're maybe not necessarily trying to change their game, but trying to adapt to the changes that Cal's making here. It's a very, very intense soccer game to start in this first half on both teams' parts.
Yeah, grabbing the early 1-0 lead is big for Walsh, but now you're going to have to decide, are you going to play to win or are you going to play not to lose? You play not to lose, you're going to try to play a little bit more defensive, but if you play to win, you're going to remain aggressive, and it looks like Walsh is still trying to be a little bit aggressive, but also trying to defend California a little bit more than they did to start the game.
And Zach, I know earlier last weekend, our CUTV crews, ourselves included, made a trip out into the Canton area, and that's where near where Walsh plays their home games, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they, Cody, we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they actually play all of their home games, soccer and football, at Fawcett Stadium at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is an amazing facility, Cody, as we drove by it on the interstate as we got off the exit towards the Hall of Fame. It is a premier complex. I know ESPN rated it as the #1 stadium in the country. So playing your home games there must be a feeling of anticipation every time you go out there, knowing you have such a beautiful facility to play in. And now we actually have a player down for Walsh outside the goal box. He has gotten up, running off on his own power. It's hard to see who that is exactly from the jersey number, as he has not turned towards us, but if we get any further information on that, we will let you know. Now Donovan punts it out. It is a far punt, but Walsh defends it and heads it out, and it will head out of bounds, so California will get possession.
Yeah, it was certainly a great sign to see that that athlete for Walsh University to get back up on his own power. By the way he was looking, it looked like he was down, like really down. He wasn't moving that much, but it's certainly a good sign to see him back up, and now he'll probably be taking a couple minutes on the bench to cool off a little bit.
We see right here California trying to attack the zone again. We see a couple players collide for the ball. We see a little competition right there, but the ball will head out, and it will be California ball, I believe. As they say, it will go out off of a Walsh player, and that was number 23, David Deemer, going after the ball as he gets the ball right here off of the out-of-bounds toss in.
That was a great defensive stand by Walsh there. California was really threatening at the front of the goal box, and Walsh's defense standing strong, not letting them in and get a scoring opportunity there.
California is maintaining possession, Cody, but it seems like so far their passes are not going exactly where they want them to go. You'll see a couple players try and hit a pass downfield as they actually have an opportunity here in the goal box. Goes a little far, a header there by California, but it's unsuccessful. Back to what I was saying, their passes don't seem to be going where they want them to go. They're a little far, a little short, and they get blocked, and it's hard.
Yeah, you're right, Zach, but it is really early in the game, really early in the season, let alone. It's the first game of the season for both of these teams for the 2013 season, so not to get too critical here, both of the teams are probably still trying to get back into their usual swing of things after all those hours of practicing before the season starts.
Yeah, and if you have any new starters in there, you're trying to build some chemistry with your team, build a rapport, getting those passes down. You see in the pros, you play with some of the same guys every year, almost every week. They have a rapport with each other, and now you only have under 20 games with your team. You have to build that rapport fast if you want to have some success during the season. And the ball stays in California's zone, so Walsh's defense is trying hard, but the ball does not leave past midfield, so California's doing a good job of possessing the ball here in the past few minutes.
Yeah, and the man responsible for that hold-in was number 23, David Deemer, the sophomore out of Manchester. It was a great stop by him as Walsh was trying to attack, but he was standing strong right near the center line and was able to keep it in.
Now, we've been calling Deemer's name a lot so far, Cody, so he's a name to watch for as the game goes on. He's a sophomore midfielder, like you said. So if he can get into an open zone and find a player to score, I would not be surprised if we call his name a little bit more in the future. Now near the goal box, California will just kick it out to try and prevent any offensive surge from Walsh, and as they will regroup as there's a stoppage here on the play.
And it will be a throw-in for Walsh, and on the throw-in will be number 9, Kane Melville. He's a defenseman out of South Shields, Newcastle, England, I believe. So that's it's nice to see a whole bunch of players from other countries, Zach. I know I've called some women's soccer games, and there's been players from Australia and other places like that. It's nice to see either Cal U or Walsh's outreach to other players in other countries.
Yeah, and it's not just in soccer that you see that outreach for some international students. You know, basketball, we have a couple stars like Elena Antonenko on the team who is from out of the United States, who performs well for the women's basketball team every year for California. So it's good to see California and Walsh and other schools getting the international students involved and having high levels of success for all of them. Now a forward pass as California is trying to get the ball before it rolls out of the corner, and they do have control of the ball. So let's see if they can set something up here, Cody, to try and tie the game.
It's a big offensive threat here with 30 minutes and 56 seconds left to go in the first half. California with their big first offensive strike. It could be coming soon.
And there's a goal, Cody. You just called it. Coming there soon off an amazing pass from California. Wow, that was a far goal and just went right over the hands of the goalie, Justin Nolan. And California has tied this game.
And it could be coming soon, I said, and there it was, right past the goalkeeper, Justin Nolan, who was just short of saving that one. And now, Zach, we got a tie game with right around 30 minutes left to go in this first half.
And as we just heard the overhead announcer announce, Gabby Deller Borgano is on the goal for California. So now it is a 1-1 game with 30 and a half left in the first half. So now, Cody, knowing that the score is tied again, 1-1, both teams have gotten their first goal of the season out of the way as California brings the ball up yet again to their own zone, as there is a breakaway there, but the goalie gets the ball before anything can develop, as the ball is almost stolen, actually, but the referee calls that that's not allowed. You can't do that, so the goalie will keep the ball, and Nolan will kick it out.
And that man in charge of that play was Christopher Carnes, a senior out of Mars area, and I was just trying to get something going any way that he could, but the ref caught it, and they wouldn't allow that, so it goes back to Walsh for possession.
Back to what I was saying, Cody, as the ball is now out of bounds off of California, I believe. It will be a goal kick by Donovan for California. But now that both teams have gotten their first goal out of the way for the season, let's see which team can continue to build on their success. We saw Walsh break down a little bit and allow the tying goal after they came out early and scored first. So now let's see, is California going to take the lead for the first time, or is Walsh going to take back the lead?
Well, it'll certainly be fun to watch because, like I said before, how I like to watch the beginning minutes of any games. I like to watch the first couple games of every season, too. I don't know, it's just something with the beginnings for me.
As we see Donovan right there make a nice diving stop. If he had missed that, it looks like it would have been an open net for Walsh, and they would have taken the lead back. But a nice play by Donovan. Now California with the ball deep in their own zone again. And another try at a goal, and it just goes wide of the goal. As now Walsh will control the ball. But number 23, David Deemer, his name is again, we're calling him again as he tries to get into the goal box. And he does, but he's unsuccessful on the goal try right there.
There was a couple really big offensive threats by California there, and Deemer not being the only one that was responsible for a lot of them. There were quite a couple other players there that were chasing it, especially it was sitting there right at the mouth of the goal. It just rolling by, but nobody was by it. No Walsh players, no California players to really capitalize on that. But now we have a corner kick out here for California, and on the kick will be number 11, Russell.
And we have another goal. Sorry to interrupt you right there, Cody, but that is 2 corner kicks in the game that have worked. From number 11, you said Russell Tattersale. We'll have to see who scored the goal for California. But as you spoke, they got the kick off, and it was a successful corner kick we see here on the replay.
Yeah, and that was that was one. I wasn't even looking at the play, Zach. I was too busy looking at the roster. I was too sidetracked. But that was a great header right off of the goal kick. You know, it only took one shot right into the goal. California regains the lead and scoring 2 unanswered points here in this first half.
And on the goal, it was number 24, Kevin Helbig. And on the assist, Russell Tattersale, like you said, before the kick actually went away, number 11. So California is taking back the lead now. Let's see if they build any further as their offense has started to come alive here with 27.5 minutes left in the first half.
It really has, and I believe that their defense is starting to come alive as well. Either that or they're just having enough offensive control, because early on, Zach, we saw Walsh with a lot of offensive threats, and California's defense seemed to be a little shaky, but now they seem to be really standing strong here against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, Cody. We've seen that here as California has 2 unanswered goals. And now number 15, Christopher Carnes, will control the ball and get it deep into Walsh's zone as the ball is punted out by Nolan.
All of these players here giving it all, giving it their all early on here in this game. They're looking to start the season off with a high note. It's always fun to watch here.
Yeah, first game of the season, you're going to have some nerves. You're going to have nervous excitement, I guess you could call it, as you're going to be out there. If you're a freshman or a first-time starter, like some of these players might be for California or Walsh, you're going to be nervous. You're going to want to go out there and perform the big play. But sometimes you just got to stay with your role and do what's best for your team. Go out there and try and get the victory.
Yeah, definitely, and it's still early on, so you'll get time to polish out any flaws or mistakes that you may have. So I guess that's why I really like the start of seasons or games so much. Is just because there's so much room to work with going on later in the season or later in the game.
Yeah, and men's Vulcans soccer starts tonight. Women's soccer, their start of their season, I'm sure, is coming up soon, if it is not. Oh, and I was actually just told they lost to Slippery Rock 2-1 in their first game. So although the women's season did not get a successful start the way they wanted it to, as they lost in overtime, actually. Excuse me, Cody. Thank you for correcting me. But the start of their season came up too, and now this Saturday, Vulcan football starts too. So all the fall sports are starting to get into the swing of things at California University of Pennsylvania.
25 minutes left to go in this half, and we're still seeing, as the sun is setting over Phillipsburg Soccer Complex here in California, Pennsylvania, that the offense for the Vulcans is really still standing strong here.
As we have another opportunity by California, but the header is unsuccessful and goes over the crowd. And Walsh defends nicely as they're trying to get the ball out of the zone, but California just keeps coming, and that looks like that could have been a penalty, but nothing is called. And it is going to actually be Walsh ball, as you might hear the roar of the crowd as they thought a call should have been made by the official, but nothing is called, Cody.
Yeah, that was sometimes the fans can really get frustrated if something doesn't go their way, or if they see that something should be called and isn't. But these officials, they do the best that they can to make sure that the game is fair, and you have to respect them for that.
Yeah, doing the best that you can is all that fans really can ask for when it comes to referees. Sometimes there's going to be those missed calls, but if the game is clean and fair and everything goes the right way, either for your team or the team you're opposing, although you get a loss, if it's a good loss, then I think the fans should be happy with that.
And now we're going to see Walsh get control here after the ball goes out of bounds off of a California player. And Walsh deep in California's zone, looking to strike offensively again.
And I thought for a second there, Cody, there might have been a yellow card pulled out. The official ran up to a Walsh player, but nothing is called. As far as I can see, I saw no card into the air, so it will be a foul and a free kick. And Cody, number 20, Jeffrey Kai, is the one taking the kick, but it goes way over the goal. Looks like he did not get the right direction that he wanted to on the ball, and it sails overhead.
And now Justin Nolan will be taking it out for Walsh, who, after that defensive stand on the free kick, it's hopefully, maybe it could be a spark that starts this offense back up. But only time will tell as the lights are starting to come on here. It's looking like a good Thursday night soccer atmosphere. You couldn't have asked for a better night for a soccer game here, Zach.
Yeah, it is a nice little, just somewhat of a little breeze going every now and then, but having the sun out, it's starting to set, so like the lights are coming on, like you said, as we see Nolan stop the ball there. But there's no rain. There's only a few clouds in the sky. It's a nice day in near fall, end of summer, to get soccer going at Cal U. And now California possesses the ball again near the circle at midfield as they get it back into their zone, and we see a rundown for the ball, but Nolan will track it down before a California player can retrieve it.
California's defense is really standing strong here. It would appear to be. I don't know if this is an official stat or not, but my guess is that it wouldn't be. But how much time that the ball has spent in Walsh's end is far greater than how much time it has spent in California's end. It would appear to be, especially later in this half. Early on it was the opposite. But it's really interesting how well the offense for California is really able to maintain control.
Yeah, and I don't know if that is an official stat like you said, Cody. I know the best barometer of that would probably be possession time, which we might get at halftime from the student or the sports information department at Cal U. But besides that, it does seem like California has possessed the ball a lot, going in about less than halfway left of the first half. So if they can continue this through the first half and then the second half, they should be able to pull out a victory.
And this goes back to what you said before about, do you play to win or do you play to not lose? And it's looking like California is certainly playing to win, to add on to their lead, which would definitely help them.
Yeah, it's like in baseball, you want your closer to come in, 2 runs or 1 run is good, but if you can get that 3rd run, maybe even 4 runs, have some insurance there, that's always good, being able to protect the lead when you have some more points on the board for yourself.
California with another offensive threat there. It was broken up by Walsh's defense, but they got it right back.
Oh, and there's actually almost an own goal right there by Walsh. David Deemer kicked the ball towards the net, and a Walsh defender kicked it away, but it actually almost went into his own net. Justin Nolan had to dive and stop that ball.
Yeah,
that would have been very unfortunate, Cody.
That's probably the best save of the night that we've seen so far from Justin Nolan on his own teammate. But yeah, in a 1-goal game, definitely you want to circle that on your score sheet. That's definitely something to remember. Yeah,
if we had any show given our top 10 highlights from all of Cal U sports, I know we do a little bit sometimes on our news center, some of the highlights from these games, but that would definitely be one of the ones you would continue to see. A spectacular save right there. Although it's not for California, you have to give props to Justin Nolan for giving it all right there on that save. Now we see Walsh set up, and they go and they try, but California will head the ball out and they will track it down and they will send it out of play, so Walsh will continue to control the ball.
Just under 18 minutes to go in this first half, and California still holding their lead by a score of 2-1, Zach. It's been a very great soccer game so far. Great night for one. Both offensive and defensive stands by both teams at different points. Been fairly well balanced here early on.
Yeah, and in the first game of the season, Cody, you're going to expect some kinks like every team has. You know, your offense might not perform the way you want it to, although it is a 2-1 game, or your defense might not step up, although they have so far. But if you can build some success early on in the season and then carry that into PSAC play, which I know starts soon, and that's a big part of the California schedule, then that will lead to a lot more success. They can build off what they did last year. I know you said in the Open they had 11 wins, I think 6 of them in conference. So getting a few more in conference will help them achieve their goal of a PSAC championship and then getting into the NCAA tournament.
Yes, you're correct, Zach. And on California's schedule, as the season gets underway here, from October 7th onward, most, if not all, of the teams that California will be playing are PSAC opponents. So if the playoffs come down to the wire, those will be a lot of great games to watch.
Yeah, you never know. These early season games don't really count towards your conference record, but building your team chemistry is what I see these for, especially when your conference wins matter the most. If you can build a little bit of chemistry here and continue to grow and get on a hot streak as conference play starts, then you should be well on your way to a successful season.
And now, Zach, last time we saw number 11 Russer Tattersall on a corner kick, California scored. So they're looking for a repeat here, as here goes the corner kick.
And it is off. And this time it is headed, but unsuccessful, as actually California gets the ball back and tries a short kick, but Nolan able to fall on the ball. So California had a chance to make it a 3-1 lead, but they were unsuccessful.
We get a stoppage in play here, and I believe it will be either a free kick or a corner kick for Walsh. The referee was pointing towards Walsh's end. It will be a free kick for Walsh.
This would be a big spark if Walsh can somehow score on this play, or even get an opportunity to score, find themselves able to generate some more offensive pressure against California and Shane Donovan, who is in goal. As the ball is away and is deflected, looked like Donovan got a hand on it, and he did in fact punch it out. So now David Deemer will control the ball and get it back towards midfield to stop Walsh's pressure. Now we see a punt, but California's defense steps up again, and they get the ball away from Walsh.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of a turn of the tables here. The ball is starting to be present a lot more in California's end than it has been in the past 20 minutes or so. It's maybe Walsh's offense is starting to click on here like it did very early on in the game in the first 10 minutes or so. They're starting to show a lot more control.
Now California will bring the ball towards midfield, and past midfield as Walsh, their defenseman, will contain the ball and get it back to Nolan in goal.
And Zach, this is the first game that California has had. A little interesting note here with the new coach that we mentioned in our open. This is the first game that they've had with a new coach since 1990. That was when Coach Lasky was a new coach here at California. So it has been quite a number of years since California has seen a new coach. And so far, it's looking like the new coaching is working.
Yeah, so far, Ebedine Sabek, who did play under Coach Lasky from 2003 to 2006, and he also was an assistant for the last few years. He did some work with the women's program and then with the men's, so he's been a part of this program for the past almost 10 years or so, Cody. So having a person like that step in will help your team, as he was one of the all-time greats, Cody.
Yeah, he was was a heck of a player for this California soccer team.
As the ball is out of play, as it rolls actually towards the front gate of Phillipsburg Soccer Complex, one of the staff persons has to run it down, but Nolan will punt the ball out for Walsh. And Cody, one thing I've noticed is on the punts from Nolan down the field for Walsh to try and gain possession of them, California has seemed to stop at least the last several of them. I don't think I've seen a successful one in the last 20 minutes or so. California just seems to be jumping a little bit higher and getting their hops on, like some of us might call it, to get to the ball a little bit harder than Walsh is seeming to do.
Yeah, well, they certainly have quite a number of tall players that can help them in their height advantage to jump up that high. Not necessarily all of them may be out on the field at this moment. I know some of them are, but they have Scott Campbell, number 9. He's 6'4", and then there's players like Noah Greenblatt, that's 6'2", and also Mitch Mack is 6'2". There's a lot of tall people on that field to give them a height advantage with the headers.
Yeah, and actually the tallest player that California has is Andrew Starcevich. He is a junior forward. He is 6'5", so having that height on your bench will help too eventually if he is subbed in for a player. Walsh will control it near the goal box. California will get it out though, and no offensive zone play right there for Walsh, as they will keep the ball in their zone.
Just over 10 minutes left to go in this first half, and Zach, I know that you might know about this too, but whenever there's sports with a clock, one thing that I've always noticed is that if an offense strikes within the first few minutes or the last few minutes of any period of play, whether it be a half, a quarter, a period, whatever it is, that really says something about the team as a whole.
Yeah, it's like you said, Cody, earlier in the broadcast. You know, the first few minutes of a game are always your most anticipated to watch. I, on the other hand, always like watching the last few minutes. You know, watching a football game or a basketball game, even a soccer game like tonight, seeing the last 5 to 10 minutes in a game where players step up most when they're needed. We call them clutch. If we can use that word sometimes to describe their efforts, that's when I think all the players really step up and shine and show what they can do for their team.
Was another great header by California's defense. They're certainly getting their heads in the game. I don't mean to make a bad pun, but literally they are getting their heads in the game, defending their own zone with a bunch of headers, sending them out whenever Walsh gets a free kick.
Well, Cody, we can always accept the puns on here when it's soccer, getting your heads in the game. It's all right to slip one in there a couple times. Just don't start breaking out into the High School Musical song for me. That's all I ask. Now we see a little bit of extracurricular activity there as number 15, Christopher Carnes, goes rolling onto the field, has to pick a couple blades of grass out of his soccer, possibly even knee, it looks like, stuck in the hairs, but he is fine and running around again. Good boy. Now Walsh there trying to make an effort to score here with 7:50 left in the first half. Trying to make more of an effort to get back on the board, as they actually have some play in the goal box right now. But it is taken out. Walsh still possesses the ball. But having it so close, you would like to get an opportunity to score there, and now we're unsuccessful.
There's a great save there by California's goalie, Shane Donovan, who hasn't been seeing all that much action in this first half with the exception of the beginning of it. But it's great to see he's still on top of his game to make key saves like that.
Yeah, California, what they would like is for us not to have to call his name, Cody. You know, you never call the goalie's name. That could be good news. It's kind of like the long snapper in football. You never want to hear his name, because if you hear his name, it means he messed up somehow. So if Donovan only can have his name called for superlative plays from the rest of the game on, then I think California would be pleased with that effort.
Well, one thing's for sure, we mentioned Justin Nolan's name after that spectacular save that he had on his own teammate earlier in the half. It was that was probably the best, still to this point, the best save of the night for him.
I think probably the best save of the game, Cody. Not just him, not to take anything away from Shane Donovan and his efforts, but Donovan hasn't had to make any plays like that. That was right in front of him. He was not expecting it, and Nolan was able to make this tremendous play. As we see Kai going into the goal box with the ball, and Nolan gets the ball away. It squirmed away from him a little bit. If a California player had been there, they would have had an open net, Cody.
Yeah, they would have, and it would have been a 3-1 game during these last few minutes of the first half. It would have been a great punctuation mark for this team, granted that they took the 3-1 lead into halftime.
Now we see a kick there. California gets the ball, but Nolan stops it. Now, Cody, as the final minutes wind down, the few names that we've been calling the most, Deemer, Carnes, Kai, they've all been performing really well for California. They're the ones that I feel like have been setting the tone for the offense here early on.
They really have, and you can't forget number 11, Russell Tattersall, who was responsible for the corner kick that California got their second goal from.
And the goals, to remind you viewers, the goals were scored by number 10, Gabby Della Borgano, and number 24, Kevin Helbig for California. And for Walsh, I believe the goal was accredited to Chad Dickerhoof. So he got the opening goal in the game for Walsh as they struck first within the first 10 minutes of the first half.
But then California came back and scored 2 unanswered points, and that is how the score remains 2-1 here with 4:36 left to go in the first half.
Now we see Walsh trying to get into the goal box again, and they do. There's an opportunity there, and the ball just sails over the goal. It is unsuccessful. Donovan was away from the play. He would have had no chance at a save, but the ball goes over the goalpost, Cody.
The net was wide open, and thank goodness that the goal missed. Otherwise, or the kick missed, excuse me. Otherwise, we would have had a tie game once again, Zach. And it's looking like it's going to be a corner kick for Walsh here. So they're going to get a second chance to strike back and tie this game.
Yeah, and on their first corner, Cody, they were successful. That's how the first goal of the game was scored. The header went right over Donovan's hands, so let's see if they can go 2 for 2 here with 3.5 minutes left. And on the other hand, California is 1 for 2, and one of their goals came on a corner kick as well from Tattersall to Helbig. And that one is unsuccessful as California's defense snuffed it out early. And the ball is way out of play.
Looks like it went off of a tree there over the fence and bounced right back in, Zach.
Yeah, Cody, that one went off the tree. I'm sure a couple leaves are rattled. There are some residential buildings behind there, so I'm hoping that none of these balls have ever hit the roof and people think a tree's falling on their house. So many trees right there. That would not be very pleasant for the neighbors here, the Phillipsburg Soccer Complex, to experience.
Well, it's definitely like the residents that live next to golf courses. You know, I'm sure that they know about the risk and are willing to accept it. So these residents here are willing to take soccer balls off of their windows.
And Cody, a bit of history for you. I know both of us probably wouldn't notice because we're not from around this area, but California Area High School actually played their home football games here for the longest time before transferring to a soccer complex and receiving their new complex.
And way back in the day, in the 40s and the 50s, Cal U's football team actually played here too. That was back when it was called Booster Field. So Friday nights and Saturday afternoons through the decades were all lit up here. So this field definitely, before it got renovated a couple years ago and changed into a soccer complex, has had some rich history.
Cody, I would have loved to have seen what the field looked like then, but it is a nice complex we have here. As Walsh gets the ball into the offensive zone, and California is able to clear it out almost, and now they do clear it out towards midfield, so they avert crisis there, and Walsh does not score. But back to my previous statement, this facility, is probably the best soccer complex I've visited in a long time. I know from where I'm from at Kennesaw State University, they actually have the largest all-women's soccer complex in all of America. It is a nice stadium there, but I've never actually been in there, never sat down, been in the press box like I am tonight with you, Cody. So experiencing my first soccer game here at Phillipsburg Soccer Complex it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, and I was able to witness a soccer game the year that this stadium or complex, was new. It was it didn't look any different than it does now. Just as beautiful and just as well preserved and taken care of. It's a spectacular looking soccer complex.
Now Walsh tries another header. They are unsuccessful as Donovan punches it out, goes over a couple players to get the ball out, but he is able to. As now there is 7 seconds left on the clock as they try a corner kick. Walsh gets it. They are unsuccessful, and that is going to be halftime, ladies and gentlemen. So the score remains 2-1 California. And Cody, both of these offenses have done very well.
Yeah, definitely. California coming out on top in this first half, taking the lead into halftime 2-1. Now we're going to look for their defense to stand as they play to keep the lead.
And when we come back from halftime, ladies and gentlemen, we will have second half action. 45 minutes left here on CUTV, Vulcan men's soccer coverage. 2-1 California.
Do you want the latest scoop on California Vulcans football? Watch each week for highlights and analysis of last week's game, a preview of next week's game, and a look around the PSAC. Get pumped. Vulcan Football 2013, Tuesday through Fridays on CUTV. Watch CUTV online anytime, anywhere. Check out your favorite original programs, coverage of the biggest events on campus, and cheer on your Vulcan sports teams. CUTV. Log on. Tune in now. Visit cutv.calu.edu/live.
CUTV is your home for local high school football action. Sundays at 8:30, Thursdays at 5:30, only on CUTV.
There is a university built on an uncommon dedication to the whole student, where core values of integrity, civility, and responsibility are not just taught, but integrated into academic experience, creating a learning environment for personal life as well as professional life. California University of Pennsylvania.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CUTV Sports coverage of Vulcan men's soccer, the opening matchup between California University and Walsh University. Now, Cody, we're going to take a look at some of the first half highlights.
Yeah, this first highlight that you're seeing here was the big save there on Walsh's part, or California's part, excuse me, by Shane Donovan, and then California's first goal, which was scored by Gabby Deller Borgano in the middle of the first half. That was what tied the game up at 1, with Walsh scoring first. And then this header coming off of Tattersall and being scored by Kevin Helbig. One header and went right in the net. And then this save, Zach, is still, in my mind, the best play of the night. We see the goalie for Walsh, Justin Nolan, make a save on his own teammate who almost deflected the pass into his own goal. That was definitely the best save he had all night, let alone the best play of the whole entire game.
Yeah, definitely, Cody. We saw a lot of first half highlights for both teams. Walsh came out early, scoring first within the first 10 minutes. California responding with 2 goals. So as it stands, it is 2-1 California. And now we are going to talk about Phillipsburg Soccer Complex. We touched on it a little bit before, Cody. We see a lot of fans out here tonight, some students supporting their fellow student athletes, and our cameraman up there in the top. It's a great facility, Cody.
Yeah, it's a fantastic turnout here for a Thursday night. The bleachers are full of parents, students, and fans, all alike. For both teams, we saw some Walsh fans cheering whenever they scored their first goal. But yeah, it's a great turnout, and this field has had some rich history going back all the way to the 40s and the 50s, whenever Cal U's football team played here back before it became a soccer complex. And just a few years ago, it got all renovated, and the field got uplifted and changed to a soccer field, and now strictly for California soccer games that are played here. And it's definitely a beautiful complex here to play some collegiate level soccer at.
And now Walsh will start with the ball for the second half as action is underway. 45 minutes left to see if Walsh can tie it or California can secure their first win of the season. Now with the ball was number 14 for Walsh. That was Quebec Gibbons. Now there's a California player a little bit shaken up. That is number 19. That is Corey Kuzilla. So we'll see. We'll monitor his status as the game goes on.
Yeah, he was a little slow getting up after a defensive stand there, but he's looking to be performing just as well as before, and it's a great sign that he doesn't have to come off of the field for any period of time.
And now Walsh had an open opportunity, but the pass just goes a little bit too far. There's no opportunity for a goal right there as we see some tackling right there. Takes the flag out. That is Tattersall, number 11 for California. So right there, a little bit extracurricular activities.
Yeah, Tattersall was the man responsible for California's second goal off of the corner kick, and maybe trying to get another chance at another corner kick, and California can get another goal from him, because we almost saw their third goal earlier in the first half come off of a corner kick by him as well, but that one unfortunately turned out unsuccessful.
We see number 27 tracking down the ball for Walsh. He is a sub from the first half. That is Mitch Ellis. a freshman midfielder from Ashland, Ohio. Now a little bit of pressure here from California. Kai has the ball, tracking down the ball, but he gets called for offsides, so Walsh will control the ball.
Yeah, the teams have switched sides, Zach, and now we'll get to see if it truly was the teams that were responsible for keeping the ball in Walsh's zone so long, and then that there just isn't something wrong with the right side of the field, because it seems like the ball really favored that side. And now we'll see if California can keep it in the left side, which is now Walsh's defensive end.
Yeah, Cody, sometimes you never know. The ball likes one side of the field. It's like a little adage in baseball. If you are a sub, the ball will find you. Maybe the ball tonight in soccer likes to find this side of the field as Walsh generates some pressure, but California is able to sniff out the ball and keep away the possible goal try.
This is some great early defensive stands here by this California defense in the first 3 or 4 minutes of this second half. It's they came out running on all cylinders to protect that lead.
And sometimes you see, Cody, a 15-minute halftime can give you a little bit of rust. If you're building some momentum from the first half, you can come out a little bit rusty, and that's not what California needs if they're trying to hold on to their lead and secure a win in their opening game.
Walsh looking to strike first early on here in this second half, Zach. It's almost a repeat of what we saw in the first half. We saw Walsh really early on try to score in the first half, which they managed to do. So if they do that here, they'll be able to tie this game up.
Yeah, I'm sure their mentality is strike early, not late, because if you strike late, you know, excuse me, you are setting yourselves up that you're going to have to make it more of a tense, pressured situation late in the game, as we will have a corner kick from Walsh. That is number 10, Chad Dickerhoof. The kick is off, and it headed out by California. So the corner kick is defended well, and Walsh is not able to convert.
Walsh will regain control, though, as the ball goes out of bounds off of a California player, and throwing it in towards California's goal. That is number 9, Kane Melville, for the Cavaliers.
Now California has the ball, but it is stolen away by Walsh. Tried to pass into the goal box, and Walsh still controls the ball. Donovan comes up and secures it, though. Stops any Walsh attempt at a score.
California is appearing to be looking to try and set something up here. There's the great passing there deep in their own defensive side of the field. It's a trying to recuperate after that rust that they may have accumulated, like you said in the halftime, Zach. It's they might be looking to try and set something up.
Yeah, and Cody, when the game started, it was a nice summer day, not too hot, not too cold. But now the wind is blowing a little bit more, as we can see the American flag out there flowing from side to side. It's starting to get a little bit cooler out here, so some of the players might start to adapt more to the cold, and they're going to have to let their bodies do that, so it's going to take a bit more energy from them to continue play. A lot of these players started the game and have played every minute so far in this game.
Yeah, you're right, and it's a little cool, but it's not too cool, if you know what I'm saying. It's not like a winter 30, 40 degree day. It's a nice, mildly cool night. But it still can be. Well, it's not can be. Excuse me. It's definitely a lot cooler than when the game started. And the whistle at the end of the first half, we still saw the sun up, but then whenever the second half began, the sun like disappeared. You know, it was gone. So there's no more heat coming from that, and now the sky is completely black with the exception of the lights. So now they're playing under the lights Thursday night soccer. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and tomorrow night we know a lot of high school football action will go on. Friday night lights. A lot of people know when you say Friday night lights, high school football's on. So having a Thursday night atmosphere, there's a lot of fans out here. I've never been to a soccer game myself, but seeing so many students and some parents, I think even some faculty were here from the athletic department. So they're catching a good opening game for Vulcan men's soccer.
Yeah, coming off of a 11-6-2 season, excuse me. That's a good. It's appearing to be so far a great start for this team, and Walsh is looking to rebound in any way they can after their 3-13 2012 season.
Yeah, but like you did say, Cody, all three of their wins came in the conference, the Great Lakes Interscholastic Athletic Conference. So having that note to yourself knows if you can get a few more wins out of conference and maybe one or two in conference, you'll be having a big turnaround from last year. Get more towards a 500 season. And now, Cody, or excuse me, we have a sub coming in. That is number 2, Tyler McCarthy.
All of these players, Zach, giving it all here. They're here tonight. They're giving it their all, and it's, as I believe one of our crew members, Tyler Harris, once said while on the air, as I was announcing a women's soccer game with him, it just tires me out here in the booth watching these players run back and forth for an hour and a half straight. And I know exactly how he feels with that. I did a little bit of athletics in high school, but I didn't play soccer, but I know what running for long lengths of time is like. It's quite a workout. So kudos to these young men here who are superb collegiate athletes here, able to keep their endurance up all game long and all night long.
And now we had a little bit of confusion there as Walsh thought it was their ball, but the referee says, no, it is California ball. But now it's Walsh ball anyways as the ball goes out of play, so it doesn't really matter. But back to what you were saying, Cody, you know, I played baseball in high school, so although there is a little bit of running, it's clearly not as much as there is in soccer or like what you did. You did track or cross country, one of those two.
I did both of them, and they were a lot of fun.
So, you know, these athletes out here have to be some of the best conditioned in all of sports. Being able to play for an hour and a half with only a 15-minute break, it gets rough on your body, but these guys make it look easy compared to some of the sports we've played.
We have just about 34 and a half minutes left to go in this second half. The second half just getting underway. And California is in the lead by a score of 2-1 over Walsh University, if you're just joining us. It's been a great soccer game all around, both offensively and defensively, for both of these squads. And Zach, it's been a thrill to watch the opening night here at Phillipsburg Soccer Complex. It's a great night for soccer.
There is a corner kick there for Walsh. Again, unsuccessful. And now there is a breakaway for California. That is number 19 for California as he tries to evade some defenders. Passes the ball away. Number 19 is Corey Kuzilla. As now the shot goes wide of goal, and they are not able to score and extend their lead right there, Cody.
That was a great breakaway there by Kuzilla. He had a clear lane wide in front of him. The only defender that could have caught him was right beside him, so it would have been a foot race all the way down to the goal, but unfortunately it came up empty, and now Walsh will regain control from their own end.
Right there, Kuzilla is a freshman midfielder from Harbor Creek, Pennsylvania. So you have to wonder if maybe the nerves got there knowing, oh my goodness, I'm a freshman, I'm running this out, I might get my first goal here, but nothing came to fruition for California.
And he could have been easily just like trying to make a name for himself, you know, get him maybe moved up on that roster to after striking offensively with that fantastic breakaway opportunity. California's defense still maintaining great control there in their own end. It's a sending it deep into Walsh's end as well. It's great stands on both offense and defense. And California doing that so that they're able to wind a little bit of the clock down. You know, the less time that the ball is within California's end, the more likely that they'll walk away with a victory here.
There's now another kick right there, sails over the goal, right corner, top of the goal. And I believe that was number 19 again, Kuzilla, on the shot. He was unsuccessful on that one. That was actually not number 19, excuse me, Cody. So we will have to get clarification on who that is a little bit later. And something I just kind of noticed now, Cody, I'm sure I've been hearing it a little bit but not paid much attention to it, is there's great communication between all the players out in the field. California especially yelling out stuff like free ball, and where to pass it and who's open, all the players. So they have a little bit of a good chemistry so far.
There is a lot of great communication here, and that's really vital in any team sport. It's because you know, you can never be effective if you don't know what the other players on the team are doing. It's a very important aspect to the game that many people overlook. But both of these teams here, it seems to be, are really outstanding communicators to their teammates.
Yeah, and I think a bit of that has to deal with the starting roster for California. There were only 2 freshmen in the starting roster, and that was Corey Kuzilla and Nick Calla. So only having 2 freshmen out there, you could possibly say that a lot of these players have played together on the field already, which helps build their chemistry from seasons prior as well.
California really standing strong here in the middle of the field, trying their best to keep it into their own offensive zone. The ball was looped there for maybe a good 30 seconds or so. I wasn't looking at the clock. I was looking to see where the ball was going, but it was a great stand there by the defense.
Now Walsh has the ball. They kick it down towards the goal box. California will track it down and kick it out of play. So Walsh will have the ball, but California will be able to reset their defense.
We have 29 minutes left to go in this second half, and Walsh will be maintaining control here in their own offensive zone.
Now a Walsh player gets the ball, but hits it off his chest into his own defensive zone, so California will set up to try and score yet again. And there's a goal right there for California. Walsh was pleading for the offsides call, Justin Nolan not able to stop the shot, so California takes a 3-1 lead as Walsh is in disbelief of not getting an offsides call right there on that play.
Yeah, it really did look like it could have been offsides, but I really couldn't tell from my vantage point. But regardless of what happens here, in the instant replay we're going to see here, there doesn't appear to be a California player that's in front of the ball, but maybe Walsh was seeing something differently than I am on our monitor here, but that, from what I could see, that was a clean goal.
And that was number 20, Jeffrey Kai, the junior from Germany, who scored the goal to put up a 3-1 lead for California.
Ball doing some, as I like to say, pinball action back and forth here. Walsh trying to get some offensive threats, but there's a lot of California defensive stands here, causing it to bounce right back. It goes back and forth, just like a ball does in a pinball machine. It's a reference that I've always made.
Now we have, looks to be an injury timeout for California as there's a player down. Cannot exactly tell who it is because his jersey number is to the back of his jersey on the ground, so we'll see if there is a substitution made as the Cal training staff comes out to evaluate the player now. It looks like there is a sub ready to come in. That is number 5, John Murphy, who is a junior midfielder from Pittsburgh who went to Central Catholic High School. So we will see if the player has to come out of this game for any reason. Now he is up.
He's walking off on his own power, Zach, with the help of the training staff.
Now we have the last goal right here, Cody. And it does look like Kai could have possibly been offsides. It's a questionable call. The referee did not make the call, so California takes the lead yet again.
And I could see Justin Nolan looking for a whistle there. He had his hands up in the air and just in total disbelief like a bunch of the other players were. But that's a thing of the past now. It's a 3-1 game here in favor of California.
Cody, you have to believe if California can hold on for maybe 20 of the last 27 minutes that they should be able to come away with the victory, as there's another chance at a goal right there. I believe that was Stephen Kai again, just goes right at the goal. Nolan not able to stop it, but he doesn't need to as it goes wide of the post.
Yeah, and within those last 26 minutes and 48 seconds, the story is still being written here tonight at Phillipsburg Soccer Complex, and as what a wise man once said long ago, it isn't over until it's over.
Now we see Donovan punting out of the goal box, but Walsh heads it out. So now Walsh will control the ball and try and answer here. California has scored 3 unanswered goals dating back to early in the first half. Walsh did score first, Cody, but sometimes it's not who scores first, it's who scores last in the game.
Yes, one team may strike first, but whenever you strike first, you run that risk of the other team striking best. That was a good save there by goalie Shane Donovan, who has not seen that much action tonight after the first 10 or 15 minutes or so of the first half. So he's still able, regardless of how much playing time he's seen, to make those great saves. Great and key saves.
Sorry, Cody, right there. But you would hope that California doesn't need him a lot, and if he does get some opportunities, he saves them all, because you don't want to get him a little bit rusty and have him miss an opportunity to get a save, and Walsh cut the lead down to 1 again.
There we see some more communication there with California's offense. In charge of it was number 18, Tyler Woolham, the junior forward out of Ghana, Ohio. And he was making sure that his players, his teammates, were in the right positions as they looked to strike offensively once again, but turned out empty, and now we see Walsh regain control here.
Now California has it. There's a little bit of collision. The ball goes flying into the air. Now California trying to set up for another chance at a goal, as they will right there, as their offsides is called that time. It would have been a goal if no offsides, as the ball did go into the net, but Cody, the official, makes the call that time to negate any opportunity of scoring.
Yeah, the offsides rule was called right there, as it would have been a 4-1 game then in that case, and California would have taken a commanding lead, especially considering how well this defense has played. You know, as you mentioned before, with all the goalie kicks that they've had and all the punts downfield, they've been able to bounce it back and regain possession of their own. There was a little bit of extracurricular activity there, Zach, as you like to say. I do know that the rule in soccer, I'm not too experienced with soccer. This is only the second soccer game I've ever announced. But I do know that if there's one rule about slide tackling, is that you can go after the ball, but you can't go after the player. And it looked like Tattersall was looking for a card there because it looked like the Walsh player was going after him instead of the ball. But that's why he would be looking for a card.
And a great save right there by Shane Donovan for California, getting his body in front of the ball, able to stop any chance that Walsh could cut the lead right there. So it remains 3-1. And Cody, like you said, Cody, this is your second game. This is actually my first game ever announcing soccer before. Like I said, first soccer game I've ever been to, period. That I went to such great lengths that I had my girlfriend, Mrs. ATL, as some of you call me ATL on the crew, teach me things about soccer because she played for 7 years, I know that. So she was on a little whiteboard trying to teach me things last night, and I know it has come in great uses tonight to try and get the info to the viewers and to myself when I'm trying to have to remember things as I'm watching soccer for the first time. Now a lead pass there for California as Walsh tries to clear it out of the zone. But California is making great efforts to try and get a fourth goal and try and extend their lead, as Kai controls the ball now.
Yeah, those insurance goals are what can win you the game sometimes. You know, you never know how many goals you'll need to actually win the game. Like, the score reads 3-1 now, but the final score could end up being 4-3 or 5-4. You just don't know until it's over. So any insurance goal definitely counts, especially in this second half as we're past the halfway point of the second half. But every single one counts, most certainly. It's a great effort that California is putting on to try and score more. We have a stoppage in play here. And I saw one of the Walsh players is down. He is injured, Zach. He's injured down in the goal box. It looks like the training staff and the coaching staff is out with him, attending to him.
And I would believe this injury to be serious, as California did have possession of the ball, and I think they noticed that he was injured first, and they were telling the player that possessed the ball to kick it out to give him time to be able to be treated by the trainer. So a lot of respect there, sportsmanship by California, but also we hope that the Walsh player is able to come out of this okay and not have any serious harm done to himself.
The clock is stopped with 21 minutes and 55 seconds left to go in this second half. It's looking like the Walsh player is getting up now, Zach.
He's walking off on his own power, maybe a little bit gingerly. So we'll see if Walsh puts in a sub.
There is a sub coming onto the field right now, but I can't quite make out his number from how far we are. But Walsh has subbed a player in, and they're looking to come right back. And subbing in was number 24, Evan Heiss. He's is a 5'7" forward out of Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
And speaking of Michigan, Cody, I know both of us and all the crew at CUTV are excited. Tomorrow we're going to go see the Vulcan football coverage kick off at Hillsdale, Michigan, as Vulcans will take on Hillsdale College in the opening showdown of the college football season.
Yeah, it's like you said before, Zach, all of these fall sports are getting underway. It's a great atmosphere to see. It's a fresh new season, fresh new games, some fresh new faces, some returning faces, or some new faces like we saw with California's coach. But yeah, it's definitely a great sight to have and a great feeling.
Now, an attempted pass right there as the player for California cut a little bit too far inside. Was not able to receive the pass from Kai. And we have another goal for California and make it 4-1, Cody. As right there, we will have to see who got the goal. That is number 18 for California. That is Tyler Woolham on the goal. Make it 4-1.
With 21:05 left to go in this second half, California makes it a 4-1 lead. After this goal here, that snuck in just beside the left post, the goal's right post, our left post. But it snuck its way in there, but regardless of which part of the mouth it enters, it still counts. And we have a 3-goal game here. California now scoring 4 unanswered goals here in this game.
And I know nothing is a sure thing, Cody, but with 21 even left in the game, a 3-goal lead is very hard to overcome. I would be shocked to see Walsh come back from this. You know, California scored 4 unanswered goals. Walsh did strike first, but getting 3 in a row with only 20 minutes left is going to be a feat to accomplish if they can do it.
It certainly will be a great comeback for this Walsh team to start on if they do come back here with 20 or so minutes left to go in this second half. But you never know. Their offense could turn it back on again like they did in the first 10 minutes. But this California defense is looking great so far in stopping that from ever happening again.
Yeah, like I said early in the broadcast, Cody, sometimes offense is the best defense. Building an insurmountable lead is one way to secure a win. As we see Nolan go out of his goal to secure the ball. But if you put up a 4-1 lead in soccer with so much time left in the second half, you should be able to come away with the victory, especially here on opening night. It would mean a lot for new coach Ebedine Sabic to come a win with his first career victory in his debut.
Former Coach Lasky would certainly be proud of one of his former players taking over the team and leading them to an opening night victory here, Zach. I would have to agree.
Walsh right there, almost with an opportunity. We see a little bit of a collision there between a Cal and a Walsh player. Walsh still not able to get another goal, so it remains 4-1.
It looked like that Walsh player, number 11, that is Sam Mount Stevens. Looked like he was trying to take the ball out, but tripped over the ball, and that led to the stoppage in play. But now we're going to see a free kick here for the Cavaliers as California sets up their wall defense right in front of where he plans to kick it.
And then the kick goes over the goal, so Donovan does not have to do much to defend that. So Walsh not able to strike on that attempt. Now a little bit more about Coach Sabick. In his first game, Sabick was a 4-year player from California from 2003 to 2006, like he said. And then after his career, he became an assistant for 3 seasons for the women's soccer team at California. So he's had a lot of coaching experience playing and then coaching with the women's team and then coaching with the men's team starting in 2010, Cody.
Yeah, it's a, like I said in our open, even though it's a new face, new leader for this club, they have a lot of experience behind that new face. It's not like, you know, they just hired a random person looking for his first experience out of the in the workforce. But it's a definitely an experienced coach and athlete to lead this squad.
Yeah, and a note I was reading on Sabick, when Cal U, their women's soccer team, only won 4 games in 2007, they won a combined 31 games over the next 2 years with Sabick as an assistant coach, and they claimed their first postseason berth. So hopefully he can bring that success here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Zach, if this California team continues to perform as well as they are here against Walsh here tonight, particularly on the defensive end, they will definitely have themselves one heck of a season here in 2013.
Starting October 7th, like you said before, Cody, you're starting to get into conference play, and that's when it all really matters. So if you can bring everything together by then, you're looking at possibly a winning season, possibly some prospects at a playoff berth, and some NCAA playoff action. So now Kai controls the ball and passes over to his right. As now we have a call. Looks like it will be California ball. Kai kicks it away.
Kai wasting no time getting that kick off, maybe trying to throw Walsh's defense off guard a little bit. We saw there was a player near the goal looking to rebound and kick it in. So he probably spotted him there right away and wanted to get the ball there as soon as he could.
Yeah, catching your opponent off guard is one of the best ways to score in any sport, really. If you can run a trick play or deke out the defense from where you want them to be, then you have an open shot at scoring. As now there will be a corner kick from Jeffrey Kai.
And we saw California's second goal come from a corner kick, so we definitely know California can produce from the corner kicks.
And a lot of teams rely on the corner kicks, Cody. I know watching the Women's Soccer World Cup a few years ago when the United States women's team was able to come back against Brazil in a semifinal match. This was the first time I ever watched soccer on a nationally televised event before. And I was amazed at how successful they could be on a corner kick and some of the long, deep passes from way downfield, able to direct their passes, get the headers in, and score from such distances that to us that don't play soccer seem like they'd be the most difficult thing in the world, but they make it seem like they do it constantly every day, which I'm sure they do in practice, but get successful at it every day.
Yeah, these athletes, they make everything look easy here. I'm sure if I was down there, I would be huffing and puffing by the end of this half. I mean, my endurance isn't quite what it used to be when I was in high school doing track and field. But it's definitely really fun to watch here. These athletes give it their all here, and definitely, like I said before, kudos to them and all that they do and all the hard work that they put in, all those hours of practicing, whether it be at home or on the field.
And I know every year the TV station plays the radio station in a game, as there is actually almost a goal right there again for California, but it is stopped by Nolan. But back to my previous comment, there is a football game and softball game every year between a TV station and radio station. I know, Cody, you go over to the radio station and play for them. But imagine if we came out here and played soccer, how tired and huffed and puffed we'd be. I think that would be more difficult than trying to go out there and play some tackle or flag football and just run around the bases a couple times.
It would definitely be fun to do. I will say that much. So maybe that's a future idea to consider here at California University of Pennsylvania. But soccer is definitely fun to play recreationally, but when you get really competitive, that's when you put all of your energy out into it and you start getting tired. But these athletes are able to do both of the latter. It's definitely really fun to watch.
And the one thing I like about soccer is, you know, when you have your big superstars, you look at the Lionel Messis and Cristiano Ronaldos of the world, they're the ones that get the attention. But here in the collegiate level, you see a lot of players, they all get the ball. We have called a few names more than a couple times, like Kai, Borgono, and Tattersall, but everybody has gotten a chance to touch the ball and do what they can with it to try and help get a win.
And we have a substitution now for Walsh University. Coming onto the field is number 21, Brandon Frederick. He's a 6'1" defenseman out of Wadsworth, Ohio. He's a junior this year. He'll be substituting in for Walsh, replacing one of the tired bodies for this team.
And now California attempts another goal, but it goes just over the top of the goalpost. That would have been an amazing play if that could have curved over the goalie, but it is unsuccessful.
We have a stoppage in play here as we are going to see Walsh's goalie, Justin Nolan, kick it out to his teammates, trying to get anything offensively going right now. Time is just melting off of the clock for Walsh University. California still with that commanding 4-1 lead. Here late in the second half, we have about 11 minutes and 51 seconds to go.
And there was actually a trio of substitutes for Walsh now, as I think the coach is trying to get all his players involved. We had number 5, Cole Sutek, a midfield junior, Keegan Hall, a freshman defenseman, and John Vanderveer, a junior defenseman, all enter into the game.
The ball was really close to going out of bounds there, and it's looking like it did. So now Walsh will have control of the ball here.
Now, I thought that was actually almost a handball, Cody, but apparently the referee called it out of bounds already, so no penalty to see there for number 25. That is John Vanderveer, who just entered the game. So that would have been very costly if they called a handball on that one.
It would have been. It's a little miscue that certainly wouldn't have been to the benefit of this Walsh team. You know, that's probably the last thing that they want to do right now, coming down from a 4-1 deficit.
And there was almost a goal for Walsh. Just went past the goal. Shane Donovan diving to stop it. He actually did not get a hand on it, I don't think. But Walsh just not accurate enough to get the ball into the net. As there is 10 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. So, Cody, we are going to see here if Walsh can make one last attempt to try and score 3 goals in about 10 minutes, or if California will come away with the victory.
California not giving up here. They're fighting to the very end. They're just, you know, they want to keep adding on the goals. They want to spark their team any way that they can. Add those insurance goals and really put a nail in the coffin, I guess you could say, is the little metaphor that's commonly used.
As we say, a Walsh player go down, we could hear the yelp of pain from up here. I don't know about you, but I certainly heard it. It looked like he got cleated possibly there on his upper thigh, lower leg.
Yeah, I heard it too, Zach, and that was number 24, Evan Heiss, who has been coming out of the Dearborn Heights, Michigan native, but didn't look like it was all that bad. Probably just the initial shock of it was what caused him to yell out, and it definitely looked like it was painful, but it's great to see him come up and continue playing.
And it's punched out there by Donovan. Another opportunity for Walsh, though. California player able to defend the ball. Walsh tried to kick it through. California stopped it, and now Donovan secures it in his clutches right into his chest. Now with 8:48 left on the CUTV ticker. Now we have this time. Walsh looks like they're not going to be able to come back in this one, Cody.
If Donovan keeps making saves like that and the defense stands strong, it's all a formula that can be thrown into the oven and come out to be one delicious victory here for this California team.
Now California, looks to be a slide tackle there, so that will be called. Don't believe it was on the player, just the ball, but referee will stop play right there. With 7:50 left in the game, Walsh continuing to try and score.
Yeah, and Zach, this may seem like common sense, but this Walsh team isn't giving up either. Much like how California is not giving up, they're fighting to the very end as well. They know anything can happen. Everybody knows anything can happen. Down by 3 with 7.5 left. It's going to be a hard-fought battle for both of these squads here in the final minutes.
And a lot of these players for Walsh are actually subs, so some of these players are trying to prove, hey, coach, put me in the starting lineup. I deserve to be out there for most of the game. If they can do something here and try and cut the deficit, you may not come away with the victory, but if you can score another goal, that would be good for your team to show, hey, I can play out here too. And a great pass there, but an even better save by Nolan, not allowing another goal through. I think he's quite tired of California scoring on him. He's already given up 4 goals, so that's another great save we've seen from him tonight. The first came on an own goal attempt where he dove and secured the ball in his clutches.
Yeah, Nolan has certainly made his fair share of spectacular saves, even though he's given up 4 goals. But that just really goes to show what offensive dominance California has had throughout most of this game. So, but even though that number 4 there on the scoreboard may not look good for Nolan, on the other end of the highlight reel, he has had quite a few spectacular saves.
Yeah, most of the time you see a big crooked number on the scoreboard that goes against your team. It's going to be bad for you because you're not going to see a lot of the highlights from your team, but we cannot take away what Nolan has been able to do for Walsh as they look to bounce back from this soon-to-be defeat, if it holds this way, and move on in the competition.
We have just about 5.5 left to go in this half, and Walsh certainly not giving up at all, like I said before. Some great passing there by California's offense, Zach. It's a little triangle passing combo there. It was really great to see. It really showed a lot of control and a lot of dominance there.
Yeah, now the ball is kicked out of play, goes towards the parking lot almost. So we're going to have to get a new ball for play here as time winds down. 4:45 left in the game for California to secure a victory.
The clock is stopped at 4 minutes and 45 seconds here on the stadium's clock, and now it's just resumed. 4:42 left. It's it probably, since it went way out of play, they had to stop the clock to get another ball back into play.
Another ball goes out of play again, and it will be Walsh ball as it goes off a California player. So now we will see Walsh has one last stand in them to try and get another goal. Looks like we're going to have a free kick here for Walsh. That will be number 11, Sam Mount Stevens.
Either him or number 8, Dylan Parsons, Zach, will be kicking it, and it will be Mount Stevens.
Right now, Cody, we can hear the thud of the ball hitting each other's cleats out there on the field. Walsh is trying to find some open lanes to get the ball through, but California is just putting their foot down, literally putting their foot down and not letting anything through.
Yeah, one thing they're doing is clogging the pipes, if you will. It's like they're trying to kick the soccer ball down some kind of drain pipe or something. And that's why we're hearing that thud. It's those feet stopping it, and from it going anywhere. It's coming up empty. The Walsh passes, most of the passes anyway.
Now under 3 minutes left. Under the lights, Thursday night, Phillipsburg Soccer Complex. Again, to recap the scores, Walsh scored first, and California with 4 unanswered goals, 2 in the first half, 2 here in the second half, Cody. And they have dominated offensively tonight, has California.
Yes, they certainly have on all sides of the spectrum. You know, we saw maybe a little bit of a shaky defense to start the game with Walsh scoring early, but then ever since then, they've found their groove, they've found their stride, and have been strong standing ever since. And we saw that too, even in the second half here. The ball hasn't spent much time in California's defensive side, which has been really outstanding.
And when the ball does enter, California finds it immediately to try to get it out of there.
As we saw here.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to demonstrate right there. As soon as we talk about it, they have to show us exactly what they're trying to do, Cody. As Nolan takes that one kind of like a ground ball at shortstop, rolls it up into his chest. Now he will punt it away.
We have 90 seconds left to go in this game, and we'll soon be hearing the press announcer making the announcement for the last minute of play in the last 10 seconds. California just mainly trying to kill off time on the clock now.
And we are approaching, we have 1 minute left, folks. So the countdown begins to California's first victory. Cody, I think they're going to get it tonight. I don't expect Walsh to score 3 goals in 50 seconds. That would be the most amazing feat I think I've ever seen in athletic history, possibly. But
that would be a comeback for the ages, definitely.
If only Sports Center would have been here to have seen it, though. As Donovan makes another great save, we have called his name few and far between times, but every time he seems to get the ball coming his way, he makes the tremendous save.
It's been really strong there in California's goal with all of the action that he's seen. It's been very sporadic, but whenever he is there, he stands strong.
As now we see Justin Nolan, the goalie for Walsh University, actually at midfield now, so we'll see.
10, 9, 8.
As the countdown begins in the PA announcer, there is 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. And California has won the opening game of their season. Emmeline Savick, has claimed his first victory. I'm sure that has to be a thrill for him, Cody. As tonight, California just brought the offense.
California really turning it on all cylinders. I really like their offensive presence, but also their defense as well. You know, after letting up that first goal, they didn't let anything else happen here. It was certainly a very impressive presence by their defensive players.
Yes, and as we see the crowd file out here tonight, I know they can all go home happy. The Walsh fans, they got to see them score a goal early, so maybe they can start off a little shaky and build towards the season. But California started great, came out with a 4-1 victory. I'm Zach Lamar for Cody Jeanette. This is CUTV.